Greetings. Welcome to my presentation. Before I get started, when you hear this sound, please move to the next slide. Let's get started. Interpersonal communication. My name is HSER Jslaydon, and today our project is called Interpersonal Communication. What is interpersonal communication? Communication means communication is a continuous, complex, and collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. Interpersonal means unique listening and talking skills are utilized from thoughtful reflections. According to Stewart, resources that will be used throughout this presentation are from Stewart, Mills Carbonell, John C. Peterson, Barley Allen, and much, much more. We will also be discussing overarching goals. From the DISC assessment, we will find out what my overarching goal will be and what my personality blends are. The reason we are doing this is once we break the barriers to our interpersonal communication, we will become an expert in listening and talking. Why is it important? John Stewart said, "The absolute foundation or base for everything humans do as social beings, interpersonal communication." Overarching goal, OAG. My overarching goal is I would like to become more task-oriented. To become more task-oriented, something I need to understand is I need to learn what enlarging the conversation means. According to the freedictionary.com, enlarge is defined as to speak or write at a greater length or in greater detail. Conversation is defined as the spoken exchange of thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Because my OAG that I'm trying to overcome is become more task-oriented, I will be listing various tasks that I'm going to be practicing. I will encourage you to practice throughout my presentation. If Jonah can build an ark and be successful, persevere through all the trials, I don't see why we can't either. My personality blend, IC and CIS. Mills Carbonell provides an assessment on www.uniquelyu.com, and through that assessment, I was identified as I, being inspiring, impressing, and very interested in people. C, cautious, competent, careful, and contemplative. S, assertive and desires to correct people. IC and CIS. Those are the four temperament DISC model of human behavior on the right. So you can also go to the uniquelyu.com to figure out what combinations you are a DICS. Let's talk about me for a second. Let's get some historical understanding in how I may have became who I am. In 1987, my family and I and my half sister moved here from Thailand. From the elementary years to middle school years, I would describe my personality as being very passive and quiet. As I grew and observed the culture of Americans, I learned how to be aggressive and social. That is why I believe the IC and CIS was discovered. The positive in my personality is I am very balanced with a diverse pool of people. I'm very friendly, and I am a good follower and a leader. The cons are, as I mentioned, my OHE, I lack in task orientation. I'm also a time Nazi, which makes me a worrywart, and I'm talkative. We are, CIS, not very decisive or determined. So we're going to work on that. So let's work on achieving our cons and stay determined, as Galatians 6:9 teaches us to. Burley Allen introduces to us some barriers that could keep us from becoming expert in our interpersonal communication skills. Here are a couple of them: perception, reception, and attention. Listening is highly selective and subjective. For the task for this barrier, in order to be at level 1 listening, I want you to consider your surrounding. What do you hear? What do you smell? And what do you see? Have 2 different conversations in 2 different environments. One in a nosy one and one in a quiet one. And quickly understand how your 5 senses comes into play in your ability to have a healthy interpersonal communication. Another barrier I will mention from Burley Allen is biased listening. For example, Burley says negative past experience are held subconsciously in our heads. Your task for this section is list your emotion-laden words and practice managing the evoked emotions that arises, or emotion-laden words. Emotion-laden words are one word that evokes 2 different meanings to you. For example, if I grew up in a household where the word crazy was meant as a negative connotation, but in the world of my social circles, the word crazy means you are fun and funny. However, because I was raised in an environment where crazy was a negative connotation, listening to others calling me crazy in my circle of friends is not going to be taken in very well. So the practice task for you is to list out these emotion-laden words and try to overcome that barrier. Burley Allen wants you to take time and reflect on listening behavior by exploring the questions and the listening habits of others. This will overcome the barriers you may have. A very good example on observing 2 couples to find out what some of their barriers are is to watch the movie Fireproof. I have included a YouTube link in here for you. 5 senses. Again, according to Burley Allen, our 5 senses does play a part in our ability to have a positive, healthy interpersonal communication relationship. Your 5 senses, touch, smell, taste, sound, and sight, are involved. For example, noise pollution. What is noise pollution? According to Goins and Hagler, noise pollution is unwanted airborne pollutant produced by others. Why is noise pollution important? Well, it interferes with our interpersonal relationships, according to Goins and Hagler. And Goins and Hagler also suggested go to noseoff.org, and there you will learn more about noise pollution and how you can do something about this issue in your community. Noise pollution. Noseoff.org. There are external and internal. Talking on your phone, if somebody on the other line is talking a louder tone than you would like them to, that could hurt your ears. Or sirens going off in the middle of the night constantly, that would hurt your relationship and your ability to function. Here are some problems that can help you solve that. Review the area's noise ordinance. You can record the incidents. raise awareness, and be an advocate in your community. Now we're at the end of our presentation. And what do we do? What are our action plans after learning what interpersonal communication is? The OAG, mine, is task orientation. I need to be better at this. And throughout my presentation, I suggested some tasks for myself and you to practice that will help you overcome your OAG. Now, if others are unwilling to participate to dialogue with you, a suggestion will be, after you've taken your DISC assessment, share some of the cons with them. They may be intimidated by your personality, but once you show them that nobody's perfect, hopefully that will warm them up to you, to interact with you, and have an intimate interpersonal communication. Also, we spoke about the 5 senses. Something that could be done, for example, hand out some treats. The taste of the sweet, savory chocolate will always bring a smile to the crowd. Therefore, it will open their mind up instead of being flat-brained, and you guys can have a very healthy speaking and talking dialogue. That ends our presentation.